What is up? My name is Leo Myron. I'm an 18-year-old guy on self-improvement from Stockholm, Sweden. I went from struggling with NoFap for 2.5 years straight. I relapsed like multiple times a week from November 2022 to about May last year, 2025. But since then, I've not jacked off once. And so in this video, I want to walk you through what I did yesterday as kind of like a model day for what I do on a normal day as a guy on this journey, why I do what I do in terms of NoFap, what things have been useful for me, and hopefully I can provide some value, some tips and tricks to you to make this journey easier and so that you can make faster progress. Okay, let's get into it, man. Yeah, so yesterday I woke up at about, what was it? I'm pretty sure it was 7 a.m. So usually I wake up at 5 a.m. That is my normal wake up time. But for some reason, I forgot to put my phone on charge when I was going to go to bed. And so my phone was dead. I didn't even mean for that to rhyme, but my phone was dead. Like the battery had run out when I woke up. And so I woke up and I saw on my phone that it was, I was like, what the fuck? Why hasn't my alarm clock like fucking went off yet? Is it still like 4 a.m.? Like, what is this? And so I checked my phone and it was 7 a.m. So I was like, what is this? Like, what's happening? And then I realized that my phone had run out of battery, had run out of battery, I should say. And so yeah, the thing is, I have every single day at 7 a.m. a call with my group that like basically like I think we're 12 guys from the community that I built, like a school community, kind of like a Discord server, but much better, like on steroids, you could say. And I do like NoFap accountability. So I have 3 daily calls with my boys, with the guys in the group. And we basically just hop on and I ask everyone, have you jacked off or not? Have you had any urges? Tell me about it. And so then basically everyone gets the accountability of me, but then also the other guys in the group. And because accountability was what really changed everything in terms of NoFap for me. And so that's why I want to bring it to other people as well. And I do free coaching right now, free accountability. And by the way, if you do want to be a part of that, you can check out the link in the description. It's for free. It's my school community. And there's also like a 3-hour video course in there on NoFap. And then if you want, you can shoot me a message, or I'll shoot you a message if you want to be a part of the accountability calls. And yeah, we'll see if it's a good fit. But yeah, man, I hopped on and I was like, holy shit, I gotta fucking hop on right now. I don't even have time to fucking take a shower because I want to be on time. I want to be professional as the guy who's hosting the calls, as like the leader. So yep, I just woke up, grabbed my phone, went onto WhatsApp, hopped on the call that I had scheduled beforehand, I'm pretty sure. And I just spoke with the guys and it was all good. I think we were maybe 2 or 3 guys hopping on the first call, or I'm pretty sure we were 3. And yeah, we just spoke and nobody had relapsed. So it was a bit of a, calmer call, because when people do jack off, I generally tend to laugh a lot and, shame them a lot, because I do think that negative, like basically punishment for doing actions makes it less likely that you will do those actions again in the future. And that is the goal of the accountability calls. I want to help the guys resist their sexual urges so that when they get urges, when they feel like jacking off, they should have in their mind that, okay, I can do this right now and it'll be pleasurable, but I will have to pay the price in the future. Not only the normal price of jacking off, like the fact that you lose time, you lose energy, you lose semen, and like fucking masculine power, if you want to call it that. You lose self-respect for yourself because you told yourself beforehand that you were not going to jack off. And so you lose trust with yourself, which might decrease the likelihood in the future that you go after bigger goals, because you don't actually have complete trust in yourself to do the things that you set out to do in a given endeavor. And you also, what else do you lose? Like you fuck up your dopamine levels a lot more, which is kind of like the dopamine is the molecule in your brain that controls and regulates motivation. And so when you overstimulate your dopamine receptors and you kind of artificially inflate the amount of dopamine your brain produces through this cheap, like these cheap reward activities like jacking off or watching porn or even like scrolling or eating junk food, and you get a lot of pleasure without a lot of work, then what tends to happen is that you spike your dopamine levels real quick. But then when the drug wears off, and then when you stop doing the thing afterwards, it goes down below the original baseline, which is really interesting, I think. So you actually feel worse after you've done the thing that would apparently like it promised to be pleasurable. Like that, those are the thoughts that you had in your mind before you start doing the activity. You thought it was going to be pleasurable and fun, but then afterwards you feel shitty. So was it really fun? I don't know, maybe. But those are some of the negatives of jacking off. And so when they have, so the people in our group that have the urges to jack off, maybe at nighttime or whenever, they should not only have those thoughts in their mind that they're going to have to pay the price of fapping through that, but also, and I think more importantly, they're going to have to pay the price of shame, right? They're going to have to hop on these calls and tell the truth, because they have to tell the truth. And if you don't tell the truth on the fucking calls, then honestly, I don't want to fucking help you. And so I don't really give a shit if you, like, if somebody comes on the call and lies and says that they haven't fucking touched their willy, but they actually have, then it doesn't really matter to me, you know, so it's all good. But obviously, like, nobody does that shit because it's fucking gay. And so people, they hop on and tell me and the other guys if they jacked off or not. And nobody had jacked off since we last spoke, since the last daily call that each of the guys hopped on. Because everyone, I tell everyone to hop on at least once a day, because I do 3 daily calls, one at 7 a.m., one at 1 p.m., and one at 7 p.m. Central European time, my time. And so I want every one of the guys to hop on at least once a day for only like 5 minutes if they can't stay for longer. But like, I just want them to hop on and tell me and tell the other guys if they have done it, because that's the most important thing with all this stuff. So I hopped on the call. Nobody had done it. It was all good. You know, it was all good. And yeah, then at about 8, it was a bit of a longer call yesterday morning. But it's all good. We just stayed on and had a lovely chat. It's all good. So yeah, at about 8 a.m., I went to school. You know, I got my real clothes on. I had a shower real quick, and then I grabbed my backpack, threw some stuff in there real quick, and then I went out to the bus. I hopped on the bus. Then I came to school, or rather, I came to the bus stop. Then I walked to school, and then I arrived there, and then I attended the first class, which for me was English. And you know, because the thing, like, I'm from Sweden, right? And I obviously use my English quite a lot through these videos and through the work that I do in my community and so on. I speak a lot of English on a daily basis. And you might presume or assume that this class, my English class, well, not class, but class, should be something that I'm looking forward to, or that should be perhaps a bit useful for me. But, you know, it's the English class that I have in school. It's not even about getting better at English. It's about some weird fucking subject that, sure, we're communicating in English, like we're talking in English and all this stuff is in English, we read in English, but it's not actually about the practice of getting better, of doing stuff, like the actual science of how you get better at a language, but more like this other shit. Like, fucking, how does AI impact future jobs and all this fucking gay shit? Like, I don't fucking know. I don't know, bro, what's gonna happen in 50 years. It doesn't matter to me right now. Of course, in the future, it'll matter. But like right now, I don't really give a shit about that. And so in general, I actually don't like school. I don't think it's useful for me at all. I don't think I learned basically anything, because I define learning, and this is from Alex Ramosi, but I define learning as how you like acting differently under the same conditions. And so if you are in the same condition as you were before, but you don't behave differently, you have not learned. Like, if you watch these videos that I make, this video or maybe some other videos from my channel, and you don't stop jacking off, or you don't change what you do in any way, then you have not actually learned anything. You've wasted your fucking time. And so don't do that. You know, if you do not change what you do, you have not learned, right? So if you, for example, let's say you are a goalkeeper in football, for example, if you're standing, in front of the front of the net, in front of the goal, right? And you get shots on you, and you just see them fly right past you. And then your coach tells you, do this with your hand, or this, try to block the shots. If you do not do that, if you just stay still and let the shots go right past you, you have not learned anything. But if you do change your behavior, if you do this or whatever the fuck, nah, da, 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 da. If you do change what you do, And then you have lunch under the same conditions. And so I don't really learn anything from school. I don't think it's useful for me at all. I only really go there because I have like an agreement with my parents. They are willing to support my grind, my sort of like the things that I need for my bulk and for my other stuff that I do. And I can I can keep living at home and not have to endure a bunch of like shouting from my parents and shit. But either way, I go to school right now and I graduate in about 4 months, so it's all good. And yeah, man. Then after the first class, I had lunch. I ate, I think, yeah, basically some fried chicken. I'm not sure if it was like the proper fried chicken that people can get from like KFC or some other stuff with the usual seed oils. I'm pretty sure it was. It didn't really taste like normal fried chicken. Maybe there was some other stuff in there, but it didn't really taste like the typical fried stuff. With a bunch of seed oils, with a bunch of canola oil and that stuff, which there seemed to be a lot of health risks associated with. But yeah, man, I ate some potatoes with that. Had some potatoes, chicken, and that was basically my lunch. 2 servings, two fucking monster ass servings. So yeah, man, because I'm bulking right now, I'm about 85 kilograms, but I want to get up to 95 kilograms by the end of this year. And so it's about 1 kilogram per month, which is about 2.2 pounds a month. So I'm about 185 right now. I want to get up to about 215. Or is that, yeah, that's, no. Yeah, about 215, yeah. And yeah, man, that's kind of what I'm doing with that. And so then afterwards, I had another class. And during my break from like 1 p.m. to 1:15 p.m., I started the second call and helped on with the guys. I think we were 5 guys or 6 guys. I'm pretty sure we were six on the second call. And yeah, we just spoke. Nobody had jacked off. It was all good. And yeah, had a lovely chat. Just held everyone accountable. Awesome, man. Awesome. All good. And then after that call, I finished the second class. It was leadership and organization. That's the course that I have during that time block. Um, it's like nothing really useful, to be honest with you. It's like it's some hullabaloo about like how people are motivated by inner motivation and outer motivation, and fucking people don't buy what you have. People buy what you believe, or some bullshit like that. Some fucking it's just some empty words basically that don't actually mean anything. Like, because the thing with school is that when they say shit, they usually don't even define what they're talking about. They're like, management is doing the right things, leadership is doing things right. Like, what the fuck does that mean? That's not true. Management and leadership are just, I think, different versions of getting people to do what you say. Like, if you can get people to change their behavior, I would say that's largely what management and leadership is. Like, fundamentally, is changing behavior. Like, not some fucking bullshit with some smart wording. Like, it's. I don't think that's true. I don't think it's useful either. So yeah, I did that class, and then at 3:20 p.m. I finished, and then I went to the bus stop. It's about a 10-minute walk, roundabout, give or take. And then I hopped on the bus, and then I think I listened to like an Andrew Huberman podcast during the bus ride, and yeah, that was cool. I really like Andrew Huberman because he's like, I like science, because with science people actually define what they're talking about, and they actually don't just make random conclusions and assumptions about stuff. They actually have things backed up by data and facts. So the likelihood that what Andrew Huberman says in his videos is true is going to be quite high. You know, because he has data and he has stats. And some people might think that is like dorky or geeky, whatever. I don't need data. I don't need fucking science. I don't care what the science says. Like, sure, like that might be your thing, but I personally really, fucking um appreciate is the right word. I appreciate science and data so that I can actually make factual and correct conclusion. I don't know if that sounds weird or anything, but like, if you don't know what is actually true, how are you going to make real conclusions about shit? You know, I don't know. Maybe you know how to do that. I don't. But yeah, I really appreciate when people just say the like state the facts and tell the truth, which is from Hormozy. But and by the way, Alex Hormozy, he's like a big entrepreneur kind of guy, like a really fucking amazing guy. I think that saying is from him. Just state the facts and tell the truth. And generally, when you speak with people, you can understand them much better if you do that and if they do that. But because a lot of people use big emotional words like fucking trauma or transmutation or some sort of like manifestation, synchronies or fucking energies and all this shit, right? All these big terms that might be true, but people don't even define them, and so they just make mouth noise at other people, and nobody actually understands what they're talking about. You know, so I like defining words and sort of actually having evidence of this thing that it is true before you start talking about it. You know, but either way, I listened to Andrew Huberman on the way home, and then I came home and I ate a whole bowl of oatmeal or porridge. If you're from the UK, it will be porridge. And so basically, I'm pretty sure it was about 200 grams. I'm not too sure. I didn't weigh it this time, but it should be about that, like maybe 800 calories worth of oatmeal. And then I just poured some water from the tap in there, and then I threw that shit in the microwave for 2 minutes. Then I brought it out, ate it with nothing else on, no salt, even like no honey, no berries, nothing, just that thing, just like pure dopamine detox shit. I love that. And with some water to get that shit down quickly. And then I had another 300 grams of like high protein yogurt, is the best way that I would describe it. I think there is something called like quark or skyr, like SKYR, or maybe like kefir, something like that. But the thing we have here in Sweden, I don't think it's called kvari, which I don't know how to say that shit in English because I don't think there's like an equivalent. But it's basically just yogurt with a fuck ton of protein with like, I mean, I think it's like 12 grams of protein per 100 grams of the thing. And so it was 500 grams, actually 500 grams of quark, or I think it's called quark maybe. And so about 60 grams of protein, about 300 calories ish. And yeah, so about 1100 calories, give or take, for the second meal of the day. First meal was maybe like, I didn't weigh that shit. I probably should be more diligent in actually weighing the stuff that I eat in school too. But yeah, I think that should be in the bulk of about 1,000 calories. Yep. And then I went to the gym. I hopped in the car because I got my driver's license 2 days ago. And yeah, so it was like, I think my second time driving the car by myself. So that was pretty cool. And I hopped in the car, my dad's car. And then I went to the gym, parked that shit, went to the gym, did some biceps, some forearms, some lats, like some pull-ups, and some rows as well. So I did 20 kg dumbbell curls for 12 reps. And so that's my new PR. And so the next time I do dumbbell curls, I will be going up in weight to 22.5 kg, which is more than I've ever done before, which is really nice. And we'll see if the jump is too big. Maybe the percentage of about 12.5% in incremental increase in weight, like from like 20 to 25, 22.5 is, there's like a 2.5 kilogram gap, which is 12.5%. So we'll see if that's too big. Maybe, maybe not. We'll see. If I get 8 reps on 22.5, that I'll be totally happy with that. And yeah, that'll be awesome. Then I did some barbell wrist curls as well. So I did 50 kilogram barbell wrist curls. I just throw two 15 kilogram plates on. In pounds, that will be like, like 13 or no, 30, 33, I think is the correct amount. So yeah, just 50 kilogram, like 110 pound barbell wrist curls. And then I did pull-ups on the assisted pull-up machine because maybe I'm just not strong enough to do normal pull-ups. No excuses. Sure, I am bulking right now, and I do wear like a hoodie and shit when I work out, and I've eaten a fuck ton of food before I go to the gym, and so I am pretty heavy, and I'm bulking. I'm like 85 kg, and so I might be like pushing like morning weight. I might be pushing like 87 kg or something like that when I'm doing, or 88 kg or some shit like that, like 190 something pounds when I'm doing the pull-ups. So I do on the assisted pull-up machine minus 14 kilograms. And yeah, so then after that, I do barbell rows, 60 kg. Next time I'll probably move up to 65 kg. So that'll be nice as well. And yeah, that was my workout, 12 sets. And then I also did some stretching for my anterior pelvic tilt. So basically most people, it seems that like a lot of people have anterior pelvic tilt, which is kind of like when the hip has been rotated forward a little bit through bad posture. Like everyone sits like a fucking tech nerd these days, right? Like this, you know. I don't know if you can see that, but you know the tech neck posture and shit. And I try my, or I wouldn't say I try my best. That's a lie. I try sometimes to sit with a really good posture. I should do that more. But yeah, so I do that, and basically what happens when people have anterior pelvic tilt is that you get shorter because you sort of yeah, like your skeleton, like your spine and your hips get rotated in a weird way forward, so that you have like a bigger bend in your lower back, and that takes away some of your height. I'm 6 foot, but you know, if I could do stretching and shit, like we'll see how long it takes. But if I could do like 20 minutes of stretching for a couple of months, like 20 minutes of stretching every day, and gain like a couple of centimeters or like an inch, that'd be cool as fuck. I'll be fine if I don't, but it'd be cool, you know. And I think height maxing, it's a bit of an unexplored area in terms of self improvement. Like I haven't seen a lot of people try to do it, so maybe there's some gold dust to be found there as well. So yeah, I do that. I just get on like one knee and stretch my hip flexors and my quads. I do two stretches. One when I'm doing a half kneeling pose, and I'm trying to tuck my pelvis, like tuck my hips using my core, and really stretch the hip flexors. I do that for 3 sets per leg. Then I will do quad wall stretches. I will put up my feet, or one of my feet up against like a wall or some sort of like little fucking little stick or something that's like, you know, at the monkey bars at the gym, there might be like some monkey bars going vertically as well, you know. And I'll put my feet, or one of my feet, in one of those little how do you even say that shit, man? Like honestly, just like I don't know. At my gym, there's like some wooden fucking thing at the wall and shit with like some sticks going horizontally. I don't know if that makes any sense, but either way, I do quad wall stretches as well. So those two stretches, 3 sets per leg for 2 exercises, so about 12 sets in total. And I do 1 minute per set. So about 12 minutes of effective time takes me about 20 minutes to do in total. And yeah, I did that after the gym. Then I went into the car. I drove back home and I parked the car, and then I had more food. I had like, what was it, 500 plus grams of rice, so about 800 calories. And then I had a fuck ton of chicken, like 300 grams of chicken breast with a fuck ton of olive oil as well. So I'm pretty fucking sure that was about like 1,500 calories plus, maybe even more than that. So yeah, man, that was my last meal of the day. Got that shit down pretty quickly. And then at 7 p.m., I had my last call of the day with the guys. And on the last call, I think we were about 6 guys as well. And one of the guys, he had jacked off, and it was fucking hilarious. I was roasting him like crazy. I was making him go through the entire fucking process, the entire experience, what kind of stuff he was thinking about, what he was doing with his hand, like all the crispy details, to make it as painful as humanly possible for him to do that. Or to be fair, I am making it painful to say that shit, because this is a side tangent, but I think it's important. When you want to get people to change what they do, you have to make sure that you punish or reward them for the behavior that you actually want them to change. So that, for example, if somebody jacks off and then they feel pleasure, and then of course they feel the post-nut clarity as well afterwards, but let's say they feel pleasure, and then they hop on the call and they say, yeah, I jacked off, and then they get punished for that, they get shamed. What is happening? He is getting punished for saying that he jacked off. That is what's actually occurring. he got rewarded for jacking off. And so that's pretty tricky. And so for some people, what might happen is that they keep jacking off, but they just don't tell people, because that is what is actually punishing, not actually doing the thing. But the thing with sort of with working with the guys that I'm working with is that these guys, they want to get better, they want to make improvements, and they have discipline, so they can actually make the intelligent association between the behavior that they did and the action that they have to do now as a consequence. Because I'm pretty sure, of course, I can't be 100% sure that none of the guys in the group are lying. They could physically be like theoretically be lying, but I just see the likelihood being very low, simply because I know, or from what I've seen, they all really want to improve. And I do feel like if you fucking join a community like mine and you start lying on the calls and shit, like, I don't know how likely that is. I would never do that shit. Like if I join a community, like it's just not what I would do, It's so yeah, that's what I believe, at least. But I do think that if people come on the calls and get punished for saying that they jack off, I do feel like they will associate that punishment with the jacking off on some level, or hopefully predominantly the jacking off, the actual thing that they did. But yeah, I'm still in the in a quite early stage of my coaching career in terms of NoFap and stuff, and I'm not pretending to be some sort of all-knowing creature or whatever that knows exactly how to get people to jack off. I'm an experimenter. I'm doing right now what I think is the most effective thing. I might be totally wrong, but as of right now, it is working, I think, really well. Most of the guys have not jacked off, or maybe like half of them have done it once, but it's like most of them were doing it like I was before I really made any progress on this journey. I was doing it like a couple of times a week, usually like 2-3 times a week maybe, and that's basically what all the guys I would say on average were at. But now, basically all of them have went to like either 0 fucking jackoffs or 1 jackoff in like maybe an average of a couple of weeks, which I think is really good. I think that's really good. And yeah, man, I'm really happy for the guys and proud of the progress that we've made. So yeah, I hopped on the last call. It was super funny. I laughed my ass off. It made him walk all of us through the entire experience. It was funny as fuck. Hopefully, that guy, if you're watching this, you've learned your fucking lesson. Yeah, man. No, it's all good. All good. All brotherly love. Tough love. Awesome. And then after the call, I hopped in the shower. I brushed my teeth, and then I turned all the lights down in my room, that kind of stuff, draw the blinds, draw the curtains. And yeah, man, I just got into bed, and I set my phone to the red color filter, so that my entire screen went red. And I kind of eliminate the blue light from my phone that would be emitted naturally, because there's a lot of blue light coming from our screens and shit. You probably know that. And there are significant data sets, or there's significant science saying that you should not be getting a fuck ton of blue light before bed, because it will disturb your sleep. And I personally believe that. And so I just set my phone to I enabled this color filter thing on my phone and clicked on the color tint option and just bring the intensity all the way up. You can do that on your iPhone right now if you want to. Just check it out, and the entire screen turns red. And red light is like the opposite of blue light, is like the opposite side of the spectrum. And so it's going to be really beneficial for if you are going to get light into your eyes at nighttime, you would preferably want it to be some kind of a red light. So yeah, that's what I do. And then I hop on my phone. I go into Notion, which is a note-taking app, and I go into my document, my page where I do daily journals or nightly journals. So I basically just do a summary of the entire day, kind of like I'm doing on these vlogs, but not in as much specific detail. More of what I'm feeling and what I have, what I yearn for, what I'm hoping having, what I hope to have happen in the future, what I'm struggling with, what I'm kind of torn between, what I'm uncertain about, these things that kind of get lost in the ether of time as you go along in life. If you think back to 2022, what do you even remember? You remember a handful of moments off the top of your head. Sure, if you delve deeper and if people reminded you of things, sure, you would remember a lot more. But like, I feel like a lot of stuff that we do just gets lost in the ether of time. We don't remember it. And I don't think it has to be that way. And I really like the idea of just writing down what I do every single night, or what I have done through that day, and how I feel about the day and so on. Because if I could go back to, let's say, my 10-year-old self, I'm 18 right now, and just see what he did on a regular basis, sure, maybe I wasn't that intelligent at 10 years old, and I wouldn't be able to make these like fucking rational conclusions and these hypotheses and whatnot. But it would be really just funny and interesting to see, like, what did I do at that time? How was I feeling? How was I living my life? And maybe like if I did vlogs like I do on this channel and stuff when I was 10 years old, that would have been fire as shit. And yeah, man, that's what I like to do at nighttime. So I just did that for about 10 minutes, and then I listened to like an Alex Ramosi podcast to kind of help me fall asleep. I don't know if it helps me fall asleep. To be honest, I just wanted to listen to like finish the episode because it was really interesting. And so I just laid down in my bed, and I think there was like 10 minutes left when my bedtime went off at 10 at or not went off, but when my bedtime is, which is at 8 p.m. I think there was like 10 minutes left of the episode. And so I just laid down and with the headphones on and just tried to fall asleep while listening. Because yeah, I do think that sometimes for me, like listening to maybe some sort of calming music or some brown noise, it can definitely help with falling asleep. Because if there are, for example, if there's commotion in the house, or if there's like noises upstairs or something like that in the house, then I don't want to hear that. But yeah, last night I was kind of just like, yeah, let me finish this episode. It's really interesting, and I kind of want to close this loop, like mentally, if you want to put it that way. And yeah, and then at about 8:10, maybe 8:15, I'm pretty sure it was earlier than that, but let's say 8:10 p.m. I just took my headphones off, put my phone on charge, and or I think I did that before, but either way, I just turned everything off and I fell asleep pretty quickly. I did have some urges like last night, not really urges to like jack off or anything, but more like I had quite a lot of like mental fantasies and visualizations. But I don't think there's anything wrong with that. As long as you don't actually indulge in them, as long as you resist, that is what truly matters, I think. I don't think that having urges, having visualizations, having mental movies, there's anything wrong with that. I think you need them in order to get better at resisting them, you know? Because you're not going to get better at resisting your sexual urges if you never do it. Like, of course, you need the practice. If you're a goalkeeper in football, you need shots on you. You need shots on goal to practice. And sure, you might, you know, let one ball slip into the net sometimes, but like you need them to practice. It's not about escaping the urges. It's not about not facing them. It's not about setting up your environment in a way that will be conducive to you not getting urges, to minimize the volume and the intensity and the variety of the urges that you get. I don't think that there's much value in any of that. Sure, there might be like, if you want to decrease the likelihood that you jack off, you'd want to do that. But I think, at least in the beginning, but I think long term, if we do have willpower, which I define as the ability to not do what you want to do, then it doesn't really matter what the fuck else you like is around you. If you have the intrinsic, or the sort of the internal skill, or just the skill in general of resisting your urges, then nothing else really matters. And I think we have to prepare for that, because you are inevitably gonna get sexual urges as a man, you know? As long as you don't fucking chop your balls off. Like, come on. Like, of course you are. You're a fucking normal, perhaps like probably like some sort of young, high testosterone male like I am, you know? At least I feel that way when I wake up in the morning, you know? But yeah, man, it's completely natural to get urges. There's nothing wrong with that, in my opinion. And yeah, I think you can just enjoy them and just practice and resist them. Just remember who you are. Remember why you started. Remember what's gonna happen if you do jack off. You're gonna feel shitty. And if you hop on the calls that I do, for example, if you just meet up with your friends, or if you talk to your friends about NoFap, which seems to be quite rare for people on this journey. But either way, if you do that, remember that you are gonna have to suffer. You're gonna have to go through shame and guilt if you do this activity. So yeah, I think accountability is absolutely like awesome. I think that we should be really like the goal, in my opinion, or I don't want to say the goal should be, but at least for me, the goal has always been to be able to resist the urges. And so then we want to maximize the likelihood that we resist the urges, which I see we can do in two ways. We can either make it more painful to jack off, or we can make it more rewarding to not do it, which is just kind of like the two sides of the same coin. So it's I think it's a beautiful journey we're on, bro. I think resisting your urges, specifically your sexual urges like lust, it's really difficult for a lot of people. And I think if you have the skill of doing that, you'll be ahead of so many guys in terms of your just ability to resist degeneracy and things that will hinder you from actually realizing your potential. And I think in terms of old ideologies, because I'm not a Christian, but in the Bible, it is said that the strongest man in the Bible was defeated by lust, which is really interesting, and that from all other sins except for lust, you should flee, but from lust you should, or sorry, fucking up, from all sins except lust, you should face it. Like you should face all sins except lust and overcome them. But from lust, you should flee because it's just so strong. That's I'm pretty sure that's in the Bible. Um, and I don't personally agree with that. I think that we should still resist and overcome it and not flee and stay and stand and face it and overcome it and build a skill resisting. But I do for sure think there's like a I do think like what the Bible is saying there is that it can be really difficult to do, you know. And I think the main reason for that is because all other physiological desires, like the desire for food, the desire for water, the desire for shelter, the desire for like I don't know, clothing, like these kinds of things that we need in order to survive. Like we need food, we need water, we need to excrete like shit and piss, we need to get shelter from the elements, and we need to procreate. But the thing is that procreation is the only thing that we cannot fulfill really by anything else than fap. Like we cannot, like for example, if you are craving junk food, you can still eat some normal food and kind of tick the same box, kind of fulfill the same desire. But with sex, you can't fulfill that desire by doing anything else but jacking off. You know, there's nothing else you can like. If you're gonna fulfill that desire, you are gonna have to stimulate your pee pee. That's it. And I think that sort of what's the right word? Like the fact that there's nothing else, like no other alternative, is what makes it difficult. I think so. And you like for example with the shelter and with clothes, like you always have that shit, you know. But a lot of guys in the modern day and age don't have, you know, women or like intimacy and shit. Which is I don't think there's anything wrong with staying celibate or, you know, locking in whatever you want to call it, and not indulging in casual sex and these kinds of things and just staying on your grind. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. That's what I'm doing. But you know, a lot of people that want relationships and intimacy and stuff, they just are not able to get it for some reason. Maybe it's because of fear. Maybe it's because of, or I should say, lack of courage instead of fear, because it's your ability to actually overcome the fear that is the constraint. But maybe it is that, yeah, some other reason. I'm not really sure, but the problem of jacking off and watching porn seems to be really fucking widespread these days. And I'm pretty sure Pornhub is like the ninth most visited website in the world. I think there's like 4 billion monthly. I think 4 billion monthly visits is the number. And yeah, man, it's really. I think it's sickening, honestly, because I think it's so disgusting. It's so like it degrades so many men's lives, and it just prevents us from achieving our potential, which is what I do this work for. You know, I want to have an impact. I want to change the lives of maybe you, maybe the other guys watching, the guys in my community, and I want to bring this more guys onto this journey, bro. So hope you're with me on that one. But yeah, so it was an interesting day for sure. I think I was really productive in general. It was just that I didn't wake up early as I usually do, because it was really sloppy of me to not put my phone on charge, which cost me like 2 hours. But it's all good. I got a little bit more sleep. You know, it is what it is. And yeah, but I didn't make the video yesterday or anything, but it's all good. We're on the grind right now, so yeah, we're just gonna keep pushing. And yeah, man, if you do wanna like join the community, it's for free. And the reason that I'm doing free coaching, like I'm spending like hours a day on these calls helping guys, with NoFap holding people accountable is that before I start charging for my coaching, because that is 100% my intention in the future, I want to build a business around this, but I want to do it right. And I want to make sure that I'm actually good at doing what I'm doing before I start charging for it. And I want to make sure that I have testimonials and that I can actually consistently give people results, and that I'm not just like some random 18-year-old trying to like fucking that has seen some course on business or whatever, how to become a coach, and you're gonna price your thing at this price and whatever. Like, nah, it's like you got to get good before you start selling, in my opinion, because I think it's unethical to sell shit to people that you don't even believe in. And right now, I don't really have that much evidence that I'm a good coach. Sure, I have had, the clients that I have, the 11 people that I have, we have gotten great results, I think, at least in comparison to what they were doing before. For sure, I think about 95% plus of the jacking off that was occurring before people started coming to me and hopping on the calls have disappeared. From like, maybe a couple of times a week to like once in a couple of weeks, which I think is great progress. And for some guys, it's even better than that. And yeah, I want to get really good before I start charging anything. And you would actually be doing me a service by letting me coach you if you are like kind of like my demographic. If you're maybe 16, 20 years old, you're from Europe or North America or Australia or something, and you're really committed on this journey, you're on self-improvement, you want to maybe get rich, you want to build a great physique, you want to connect with more guys on this journey, you have these kinds of goals like I have, then I truly believe that, or I shouldn't say that I think that I can help you, because I haven't done this for a while, and I don't want to be making any claims that are not based in absolute fact. But I do think if you do what I've done, and if you do what the people that I've coached have done, the likelihood that you stop jacking off would go up, So because it's like you just have to fucking show up to the calls, man. Like, if you show up to the calls and you just tell the truth, the rest of the shit will be quite easy. Sure, I do recommend going on dopamine detox as well, which we can discuss in another video. But like, yeah, I think accountability is the greatest thing in the world for resisting sexual urges. Because it's like, for me, it was only when I actually told my best friends about my NoFap struggles, and when I started doing this daily series on YouTube, and I just told myself that if I do this shit, I have to tell my YouTube audience. And I haven't done this since, cold turkey, whatever you want to call it. So I really want to bring that to you and the other guys watching, and hopefully we'll I was gonna say that we'll fill up quite quickly, because I can't really handle that many people, and this is not some sort of like scarcity tactic, but like I don't think I'll be able to like handle too many people, because like I'm currently spending like hours a day on calls, like 2 hours a day or something like that, and I don't think I'll be taking on new people for that much longer. Perhaps we'll see. But yeah, I would recommend just joining the community, and yeah, we'll have a chat. Hope to see you inside, bro.